Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, coming to you from somewhere nowhere, Mexico. Yeah, that is right. I don't know. We're feeling it a little bit, right? We're quiet. I think we can hear that ocean rolling. It has been a beautiful, amazing day. We got to host an amazing space with Jeff McDonald, one of the builders within the Morpheus ecosystem. We got to talk about building smart agents and using smart agents, and then the safety of smart agents, using them on a personal device that you use for everything, or do they have to be in their own standalone, if they need to be on their own standalone computer, but what that power of owning your own agent, your own smart agent, and what that looks like working for you. So some really interestingly cool stuff there. One of the great things about being able to work with so many builders is you learn so many new things all the time, and you get to sort of hear what's going on. But you know, we build really cool things, but at the same time, we work really heavy still in DeFi. And so we do a lot of things on our public wallet. And one of the really cool things that we've shown last night and over the last month and so is what providing liquidity, even starting at a small amount, if you're early enough, it can go a long way. And so what we are going to show today, as you know, we are traveling, so we are back into that infinity screen that you guys love so much to see. I know, because I love to see it. I really don't. But we're going to go into the fun aspects of providing liquidity and what that looks like. And so there's a couple things that I want to cover here real quick. Like carrot on a hot tin roof. But we show what doing the LP looks like and what that token piece looks like. So we did what our basic pieces were for this test, and what we came out with was we'd originally put in 3,750 woman yields at cat. We now have 3749.99. We put in 28 pop cat. We now have 28.58 pop cat. We put in 235 loose. We now have 270.77 loose. We put in 62 punky. We now have 66.61 punky. We put in 42 goat. We now have 50. We put in 47 goat. We now have 52.12 goat. We put in 15 whiff. We now have 16.55 whiff. We put 8,000 GME. We now have 6,863.58 GME. We put in 1,010,000 bonk. We now have 816,099. We put in 31.50 peanut. We now have 13.42. We put in 50 USDC. We now have 2.9134. We put in 2.1 SOL, equivalent of $50, sold to Boba. We now have 21,607.65 OPA. We originally left 0.5 SOL in the wallet. We now have 0.12845 SOL. Now, some of those numbers that we talked about earlier, right there, like USDC, Peanut, Bonk, GME, we're under, and where that those positions were still in range. We hadn't traded out of that range, so when we closed the position, we got where that ratio was of token to pair back. So rather than just getting it back as one token, and so that's a difference that you've seen now with like protocols like Beefy. You can choose what kind of, because they have so many different zaps for in and out, you can choose how you wish to receive that. Right now, the way that Hawksite, aka HawkPi, is working is basically via you close a position. If it's still trading in your range, you'll have a ratio of both tokens, and it will spit that out. So same thing with USDC to Sol. We had a lot less USDC because people were uh, buying up the USDC from that pool, um, and basically, or in other words, selling their soul for USDC. That sounds sort of creepy, but we all know what I'm talking about when I say soul. So that is sort of where we're at. So remember, this wallet, we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 positions at $50 a piece. So that was $555. Plus, we left point 0.5 SOL, which at the time was $127. So right now, that SOL is worth 233. Our total wallet right now is 485. We do have, outside of stables in our exotics, we do have more token on average than what we put in, minus Bonk, GME, and Peanut. And so when everything else starts to rebound into their prices, we're going to see some awesome appreciation there. And so that is the one thing to be mindful of when you're providing liquidity. You can have impermanent loss if you trade out. If you're doing a narrow or even wide or normal, like 10% to 10% range, you can. And if you go outside of that, means you will have impermanent loss. Now, if you don't care about either side of that pair, you're like, I'll take either token. This might be something that is for you. Now, as you can see, since we traded out of woman yields at cat, the price of it, woman yields at cat, went down. So that means everyone was selling their woman yields at cat for SOL. And so we traded almost exactly to where we deposit. The reason why, and that happened fairly quickly. Big thing with Hawksite, you need to have over $100. 101 is what I like to say, so that it will auto range move you back into position. But what I wanted to show today, one site that we got really lucky on this one. We didn't do any research. We just liked the idea of it, and we got into it super early. 4 zeros and a 6, I think. 4 zeros and an 8. But we got into Unicorn Fart Dust, and we have seen an amazing community build up around UFD. And so we had turned we turned a little into a lot. Now that doesn't always happen. We'll usually break even, lose a little bit, because it's gambling. We're throwing dice and seeing what happens. But where we really sort of came into a really good position was in trading, in providing V2 liquidity that's in the same pool that that pump.fund creates when a token hits bond. And so we hit bond, and we had made a position with it, with both SOL. It originally had about $50, 25 UFD, which at the time was around 10,000 UFD, and just a little bit of SOL at the time. So I think it was like 0.2 or something like that, or 0.175. Really easy and tidy. Since then, as you can see, our position has grown to 4.68 SOL, 66 SOL, and 7,000 UFD. Now, what's happening is we're collecting those fees trading back and forth. But unlike a V3 position, we can't harvest that position. We can't just pull. We can pull part of those profits out and bring this pool down. But because we're getting a bigger and bigger position, we're collecting more and more fees. So it's sort of like, the fat get fatter. This is something like that within We see within a liquidity position, the more liquidity you have, the more of a piece of the pie you have, the bigger the piece of pie you have, the more of the percentage of the trading fees you receive. So we got really good and lucky with this one. We've seen it grow from 50 bucks roughly to $1,700. And so that one's been a good play. As we can see here, we have about $2.28 in harvesting. So we are outside of our range within this SOL UFD because, like I said, it is a tight, picked a tight range. And so we have only UFD. Now, and that's what UFD of 1,500 UFD per SOL. Our range is 463 to 1,100 UFD per SOL. So as the price of UFD goes back up, we eventually get back into range with this pool. We'll see a balance piece, start off 90, 90-10, 80-20, 70-30, 60-40, 50-50. And then if people keep buying UFD, it will go the opposite way. It will go 40-60, 30-70, 20-80, 10-90, and it could go the opposite route of that, meaning everyone's bought up all the UFD in the price range that I'm selling it at. And so what then happens is we will only have Solana in that position. But what we're going to really see some really cool stuff is as Solana starts to, pick back steam up and rise in price again. I think it's currently around 184. Let's, I think let's go check the dashboard. SOL is 190 right now. So at 190, we're seeing let's connect. Oh no, I don't want to do that. We are going to disconnect and we're going to connect our current wallet. So our proper position shows up that we can see here. And you can see as different staking protocol pieces, as our wallet sort of gets defined and everything like that, we see as that will grow. Let's see, any questions real quick as we get to it? Nope, no questions. All right. But like I said, we're going to make this a really quick piece because we got to be up early. And so as you can see, we harvested our positions in our V3, aka concentrated liquidity. Standard, there is nothing for us to harvest, but we can sort of see the price of our position. 1,700 is in UFD. AI, we have 149 that's grown. We have our token Sol Taco, Sol and Liz Pepe as well. Filth USDC. And then we have our staked ray where we can always harvest that as well. And this is the other thing that we've compounded and shown how it keeps growing. And, by starting really small and having it keep growing and growing and growing. So we've done a lot of good in this piece here. Now what we will also check out, we can also check out Orca. I think we have a small position in Orca. I'll have to check. I think we might be out of position. Orca now supports Eclipse if you're wanting to look over at that. But let's look at our portfolio. So we just have some Pengu positions. We have a full Pengu position, and we have a closed out of range Pengu position here, where it is just Pengu. We can see that here. Balance. We can see that it is 100%, 47 bucks, 1,500 Pengu. So we'll leave those positions as is. We can harvest our harvest yield from all of them. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to leave this Pengu position in because we know that Pengu is going to go back up. There we go. So we harvested all of those positions. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our two other spots, Hawk site and its upgraded position, Hawk 5. Right now, Hawk 5 is using Meteora. Hawk site is pulling back from a whole bunch of different protocols. So let's get into it there. And we'll also connect here. There we go. So as this loads up, we'll see our positions here as they're built out. We currently have 14 positions open. USDC and USDS, people are trading, and that's earning a little bit of compound pieces there. So we're going to claim these as we walk through all of them, just to sort of give a feeling so you sort of know where we're at with each token. And we've set everything to auto compound. So even our rewards get compounded back in to the protocol, into that specific protocol on our behalf. So it adds to our principal and it turns into a good thing. Ooh. Excuse me. Listening to that wave crashing is just relaxing, isn't it? As we talk about LPing. So we can go over to this dashboard as well. We can see the main tokens, the 4 tokens or 5 tokens, I think, that we have running on that one. We'll allow this to go as we got basically 0.01 USDS and 1 cent, 1.5 cent of USDC. Let's see. All right. So in our Rismus, we have $2 in fees to claim. All right. So we're going to sign this. That's going to allow us to claim all for this position. All right. So USDS. Now we're going to go to Sol UFD. We have $6.53 here to claim. As it builds the transaction for us and then processes it, we have to then approve it. So let's see, is there anything from the Taco? There's nothing from Taco to claim. What if there is? It is super tiny. Waiting for this position to build. There it is. Next, we have DAIG. We'll claim all of that. We can show all time. We've pulled out of having $129. We've pulled $63 in fees. UFD, we got $214 now. And it is now, we've collected $256 worth of fees. So this one is, we're collecting even more just on trading fees than our initial principal, which is because there's so much moving within the UFD ecosystem. So pretty awesome to see that going. All right. That was Sol UFD. Mm-hmm. we're claiming this. That transaction was actually for this screen here, mother with. We'll claim and let that go. USDC. We'll claim our 50 cents, 54 cents there. Right. Let's try this one again. Fees and rewards claimed. All right. Finally, Penguin Soul. This position, USDC. We've now claimed USDT, USDC. Now has a penny to claim. As we can see, these yields are being compounded back into the position, growing our position. USDC, USDT is a really good token sort of for LPers to start up. So you can sort of visually see if you're starting at like 50-50, you can see how people are trading, if they're trading into USDT from USDC, or if they're trading into USDC versus USDT. I apologize. So we see here our all-time with Pengu as well. We have $414 in there. We've collected $66 in fees. And we're also claiming this piece. So we've claimed both of these transactions. All right. And as we can see in HawkEye, we've claimed all 5 positions, so we are good here. We're going to do a fresh restart so we can see. All right. So, Solgari, we're going to walk through each of these claiming. We see that we have less than $1 in all of those. We claim 12 Gari and just a little bit of Soul. All right, we don't have any reward pieces here, but we'll look at these are all set up. We'll close out of these positions as well. There's our wallet. We'll disconnect from Orca. We don't need Orca anymore. We're going to disconnect from Radium. All right. So we are here as well. We're going to disconnect HawkFi. As we still use HawkSite as our primary LP liquidity source, it just goes a great way and makes it super easy especially with one-sided pairing. It will zap into that pair for you. So it's a really good play, in my opinion. You get to support an ecosystem, take profit. Don't forget to take profit. And that's one of those things that we'll see grow. Now, you can hear those crickets too. Amazing. All right. So as you can see, we're still back in Vor Priority, GM. We're checking on some LP positions within HawkSite and HawkFi, sort of showing the benefits of providing liquidity for a token or one-sided. Will in the V2 or V3, it will balance that pairing out to whatever it is that you're choosing. So if you go in with $100 on just one token, it will split that. It will sell that token and buy the corresponding pair and stake them for you. And that's sort of what we see in HawkFi. As you can see, the rest of our public LPs, as well as concentrated liquidities. So there's that. We're waiting for the Gari token to process that claim, making sure that it got to us. Oh, we're going to try again. A little faster as we move this along. All right, so that position has been closed. It's now closing that account, giving us that SOL refund as well. Or no, we're not closing this account, but giving us back Gari in SOL HXD, which is Honeyland. We have our auto balancing on an auto compound. So we're going to claim this $5 of HXD in SOL, $45. As we move it. Ooh. Excuse me. All right, so we're waiting for this position to close or to claim. And what can I say? We're running a little slow on the internet here. We're using just enough bandwidth to be able to send video. So there we get to see the claim pieces and then the proof of claim as well. So this is going to allow us to just go up into all of the positions and claim them. As we see, we have some good claiming yield in a lot of these protocols. We have $2.56 to claim in our SOL WIF that we'll do. BSOL SOL, it's just a little bit. Juke USDC, $4 in claiming here. That'll give us 1.9 USDC and 2.3696 worth of Juke. So we'll wait for this. We're going to give this to a close. I want to thank everyone for joining us for TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode 826. We have been going for a minute on this show, and we're grateful for everyone that shows up and joins us on video, follows along with whatever it is we're building, doing, showing different ways of how you can provide liquidity and why you might want to do that as well. What's really cool is if you have just one token, you can always search for that token both in HawkSight and HawkFi to sort of see where you might have the best position. So it's a really cool piece to sort of see how that goes on. But as a reminder, if you're going in with just one token, you have to set it up for auto swap. I personally like to put 10% slippage on, knowing that the transaction will go through. All right. Now, as that goes through for the night, like I said, I want to thank everyone for joining us. And we also saw a big pump to Mu. So a lot of Mu trading has been going on as well. So we like where we're at. A lot of pieces. We're earning a little bit of bonk as well. Like bonk. As this position sort of then rolls us through, we can sort of see all of our different volts that we have. Camino to MarginFi as well as our validators. So protocol like Hive, like Demo, whatever, the Digi, that whatever it's going by. We get to see a lot of cool stuff behind the scenes as we claim all of these pieces. So there's our bonk reward, and we're gonna call it quits at that. As we close both hawk sites down. But like I said, quick bite tonight, just showing you what some of the power of the LP can do. Super excited to see how this comes along. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a cost analysis of how much it costs for each token that we put in. And then we will look at how much we got out, what that cost is now, and then what that cost will look like at the same price as when we entered into these pools. So that'll be a fun exercise to sort of walk through and go through and do. And so can't wait to have you come through and join us with it. As always, we end the show with the same two things. Our words of wisdom and the greatest worst knock joke on the face of the planet. Our words of wisdom are always the same. A closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth, meaning if no one knows you're looking for opportunity, opportunity can never come knocking. If opportunity does come knocking and no one answers, it's going to keep on walking. With that, I want to wish everyone a great and wonderful night. Merry Christmas. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. And as always, we get to end with the greatest worst knock joke on the face of the planet, and that is knock knock. Who's there?